Hello. Um, I was thinking I'm going to do more live streams in the coming over the summer. I'm sure of it. I just wanted to test. This was the perfect thing to test, and I thought, well, I've done the basic stream setup very quickly, so I may as well go live now. Um, so yeah, there's no camera. Well, there's just the webcam. That's it. There's going to be no additional graphics for this stream. It's just myself in my room trying to convey my reaction to this game. I have. This Champions League season has not been the most exciting. It's not been the worst either. But I think both teams have played some interesting football tactically, and it's going to be a good game. It probably will be very cagey, but I'm definitely. I think it's going to be one to remember. There is this tidbit, this fact that every time, every time a Spanish referee's been appointed for the final, it's concluded by a penalty shootout. So that could well happen today as well. Um, just watching just loading up the BT stream. Of course, they say we've chosen. We were honoured to show the game live. No, you're forced to do it. If you had a choice, you wouldn't show it at all, would you? It's the law. You have to show this game. Same with the Europa League final, the FA Cup final. Maybe the playoff final should be made legal, but that's for another time. That's another discussion. Again, if you're just watching the stream, I haven't checked how many are watching it. Uh, not a lot of people. 25 seconds, okay. Hello, Tibbs24. I wasn't expecting to see you here. I am going to so hello. I am going to be so you're probably one of the only people watching, aren't you? So I can afford a screw up at this point with no one watching, unless it's replayed. So BT with their little preview show before the game. Kind of showing how City kind of very low budget club before they were taken over. Is that Vialli? Yes, it is. That's Chelsea. Oh, no, we've got a clip of Chelsea in the past. So Zayla scoring these crazy goals and yeah, unremarkable coverage. I'm not worried about coverage from. There we go. This now City after the takeover. Serial winners. Yes. Please, guys, please don't mind my awkward posturing and dead stare. And the shades, you see why I'm wearing shades indoors. I have a sensitivity to light. I self-diagnosed a few months ago. I focus way better on what I'm saying with these on. If you've ever watched my previous videos, I don't advise it. But if you've ever watched my previous videos, you'll see me breaking up. My speech breaks up all the time. It still does to a little extent. It's just, oh, I mumble, don't I? It's just, I have to wear these so I can focus. I'm planning to get an update later in the summer where it's a lighter tints so you can see my eyes better. That'll be really good, won't it? They're just showing the Aguero goal now. It's going to be a fun match, I think. KG match. I don't know where I'm going. I've paid a good amount of attention to this game, but if I kind of emphasized bringing that up right now, I'd freeze to a halt. So I'm just reacting. This is just a test stream. This was last minute planned. I wasn't really expecting. Oh my gosh, they've packed the academy pitch with loads of fans. That's good to see. They're not actually fans, but whatever. The idea that this is a huge historical final. There we go. It's packed. The Dragon is packed. 5 minutes until it kicks off. This is just a test stream. I wasn't planning to react to this game. I've just got some other live streams coming up, hopefully with more detail to it than just me talking to a camera and this microphone, this headset. I don't have the money for anything better. It's a very shoestring setup. So now we go to the actual coverage inside the stadium in Porto. As I said, my coverage of this is all over the place personally, but I don't know. Hopefully, it'll be way better when this. Well, I'm going to keep it a secret. You might be able to guess, but there are some games in the summer I want to cover in a lot of detail, and there'll be lots more on the way to come from it. So we'll see. They got Lescott. Jelly and Lescott. Not far off. Michael Owen is one of those people, one of those former footballers who doesn't really have fans regardless of whom he played for. I don't want GIFs. Just checking up settings, because there's one thing I have to do regardless of the way these live streams are presented in the coming weeks. Oh, microtibs, I just saw that. I don't know when you posted that. I can't hang around long. Well, hope you enjoy your evening. And yeah, no question. I will. Yeah, I know you're up in the Midlands, aren't you? Working. Great to see you. We haven't spoken for a few days. I'm glad you're here. For the time you can watch this, as the players walk onto the pitch for the playing of the anthem. Sterling's in prayer there. Edouard Mendy coming out. Rudiger's got a face mask. Kante back from injury, strolling onto the field. Thiago Silva is in prayer as well. Havertz, Werner. The camera fixated on him in particular. I think it's more because he's the last player, not because he's going to make the headlines they expect. He probably will, but I don't think that's why the world feed's tracking him. And they don't even have like the giant circular banners in the middle of the pitch. Those are clearly digitized. I've muted this stream. I don't want to listen to the BT commentary. It probably isn't a good idea because it's probably I'm going to run out of steam later in the game while I'm talking about it. But like being digitized and all that. I don't have the energy. I'm thirsty actually. I'm going to quickly. I don't even have like another overlay to explain. I need to be off for a minute. But if you guys are watching and I will need to go off for a minute to have a drink. I was planning to eat before the game and I ran out of time, so I'm going to have to do all that when the game finishes. Goodness knows what happens if it goes to penalties, because I'm going to be here until 11 UK time. So here we go, back four of Zinchenko, Dias, Stones and Walker. Indeed a diamond of Foden, Gundogan and Bernardo from left to right, so that's really weird. De Bruyne, Mahrez, Sterling. That is a really attacking lineup. That is really interesting. It's as if he expects Chelsea to sit deep and he's going to try to be as penetrative as possible. But of course, I wonder if Gundogan is like a sneaky. Like I don't understand why he hasn't played Rodri. I don't think it's to do with like defensive responsibilities, because otherwise he would have played Fernandinho, not Gundogan. Gundogan has been used. Remember, Gundogan's reputation this season has come from the amount of goals he scored. You could argue his offensive work as much as what he's done in a deeper role. People talk about him being a candidate for Ballon d'Or with the amount of goals he scored. So clearly, his role is quite different from what he's been used to this season. And Chelsea have gone for Mendy in goal, and then the traditional three centre backs. Azpilicueta apparently in the back three today. Reece James back in his normal right wing back role. Kante, Jorginho double pivot, and a front three of Mount, Kante, Mount, Havertz, and Werner up top. And the UEFA graphics suggest they're lining up in a 5-4-1, so very defensive. This is the first time that this stadium has ever hosted a Champions League final. Last year it was again in Portugal, but at the Estádio da Luz in Lisbon. Oh, look how tiny Foden is compared to Havertz. I've not really paid attention to the games between these two clubs earlier this season. I did watch the FA Cup semi-final, the second half when Chelsea scored the winning goal, but I just don't notice things like that often, the height of players. Like, have you seen pictures of like Eden Hazard next to, or Maradona next to like basketball players? They look so tiny, they're dwarfed. And the two-stage kickoff, they take the knee first. Lahoz will get them going in a second. Not sure why there's a delay in the start, but I know we're away now. The 66th edition of the European Cup begins, and immediately Chelsea intercept the ball. And immediately City trying to press into Chelsea's own area, and they might have to concede a corner straight away. I think they do. It's a throw-in actually. And wow, City right from the off have been pushing extremely hard, and Chelsea have got it out now. But I'm sure, knowing City's they're pressing so high straight away that they've already won the ball. They're trying to intercept and position properly, are Chelsea. And I wonder how much of this game is going to be like this. Chelsea playing very deeply and City doing essentially the opposite. They've got a very quick attack, especially with Timo Werner. And first foul of the game on the 60-second mark. Another foul. At this point, I'd probably bring up some data or statistics, but I haven't really, as I normally would, revise data before the game starts. I just was looking at stream metrics. Has Jorginho fouled? No, Gundogan. So Chelsea have an opportunity to play the ball up the pitch and have possession. Aspilicueta with the armband for the Blues tonight, not Thiago Silva. That's so nice for Aspilicueta. I'm a big fan of his. The idea that after years and years of great service for Chelsea, and for me a great successor to John Terry as the captain, he is again wearing the armband for his biggest ever game in blue, arguably. I think that's Chelsea with the throw-in from Reece James. I think I'm going to get, with the hair, I'm going to get him and Tammy Abraham mixed up a lot, even though Abraham isn't on the pitch. Might not set foot on the pitch at all tonight, the way sort of he's dropped out of favour with Tuchel. And it's gone all the way back to Edouard Mendy. And indeed there is Reece James at right wing back again. On my clock it says it's 2 minutes 50. Of course, traditionally a lot of finals between teams of the same league have been not the best viewing experience for audiences. Of course, the All English final 2 years ago was marked as possibly as boring in the competition's history. I don't think that's true, but it wasn't great. No arguments with that game in Madrid between Liverpool and Spurs. 2003 between Milan and Juventus went to penalties after a 0-0 draw. Oh, here's Chelsea now on the break with Werner. And I'll feed it into the box. They keep their feet, and it's collected by Edison. And this is the nice thing about a Champions League final, as I was referring to with Aspilicueta. It's so nice that we have so many of these players have never played at this level before. A large number of the Manchester City 11. Silva played in the final last year for Paris Saint-Germain. You have... who else has played? Werner was technically in the semi-finals last year with Leipzig. Doesn't count. And he was already at Chelsea by the time they'd made it in effect. He just was ineligible to play. I'll look at the lineup here. Ben Chilwell has never been in the final. And now it's Chelsea's turn to play from the back. No, many of these players. Gundogan Played in the final for Borussia Dortmund in 2013 on the losing side, converted a penalty to equalise. Bernardo Silva reached the Champions League semi-finals with Monaco 4 years ago. But the majority of these players have never gone this far in their lives. Only the closest I can think of is Thiago Silva and Gundogan. Everyone else, this is a completely new experience. I was just figuring it out for myself, and I'm sure a few of you will also have done the same. Good to see. I didn't see you were getting a takeout at Micro Tibbs if you're still watching Tibbs 24. That's cool. I hope you have a lovely evening. Whatever you're doing. Playing games, watching anime, I have no idea. I'll see you around soon, man. If you've signed off already. And already City trying to play. And I can see why they might have gone for a diamond, because they've got all the through balls and amongst other things to get the best possible service through the deep block. Chelsea are probably going to play for the most of the game. And that looked like a overextension from Silva on the Thiago Silva there. Not the nicest feeling. And they're back with this is Phil Foden now. And there's that's Zinchenko or De Bruyne? It's Zinchenko. So in effect, Zinchenko will play forward, and I think form a fifth midfielder in the centre there. And Walker will drop back, and he's not the worst, not the best, but not the worst option for a overlapping centre back, right-sided centre back. Edison with the left-footed delivery, and he's spotted the forward here, and he's round Mendy. Oh, that was Raheem Sterling, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm so bad at spotting certain players out. Raheem Sterling there got on the end of Edison's ball, and he timed the run brilliantly, but as usual isn't the best at finishing, and Reece James got onto him there. Ah, nice. He was no, never mind. Sterling had nothing to do with that. He was tackled by James just in time. There, you see, I'm so bad at spotting these things. Foden will swing in a corner again. The left-footed delivery. So many left-footers in the 11 for City tonight. And because they've got no left-footed centre back, and Laporte, I've even heard is talked of leaving the club altogether. But you've got, who is it? You've got, I think it's Foden, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Zinchenko, Edison, all left-footed, and then in Chelsea you've got Havertz and Chilwell, and that's it. All three of Chelsea centre backs tonight are right-footed. Here's Bernardo Silva. Oh, I love Bernardo Silva, just watching him play. So silky, such a great progressor of the ball without really relying on out-and-out playmaking like someone like his namesake, David Silva or De Bruyne. Well, David Silva is actually more of a technical, more someone who relies on the progressive carries metric than passes. And a good break from Chelsea here. They've got something nice going here. Here's Chilwell. Havertz, Werner, and it's blocked. And this is the best chance of the night so far, arguably, unless James hadn't tackled Sterling. And here is Sterling, and City will counter press. And surely Sterling's not going to go for goal here. He tries to thread it through, and an excellent tackle in the nick of time on. These cameras are so wide, and I can't spot the shirt numbers. And I try and point out, like pick out who players are from like hair, but even that's not a good enough distinguisher. I know this is Ole Zinchenko, and he's out to, I think that's Riyad Mahrez. Really nice footballers. Chelsea try and clear the ball out. They're successful, but only out as far out as Zinchenko, and then I think Chilwell has fouled. And this was the initial attempt from Werner. Oh, he didn't. He wasn't even blocked. He missed his kick. Oh, what a waste. And I'm sure they'll have more chances at this rate, but that is a very, very, I've sadly, like, expected moment in some regards from Werner, not because of recent form, but because of how many times he's messed up in front of goal this season. He'll come good eventually, I'm sure, but he's just struggled so badly for consistent goal scoring. He's obviously done so much more than just that, but a bit like Firmino does so much more than scoring goals, and yet his end product's been so poor that so many take notice of that. And understandably can argue that it hasn't been the best of seasons for him. City again trying to play so many different balls through any kind of space they can find in Chelsea's defence. And another foul here. Mason Mount, I think, yeah, shirt pulled by Gundogan. Reece James with a nice ball out to Timo Werner, and he's lost his footing as John Stones. And now he's got to prevent the effort from Werner. Here's Kante. And is it a dead ball? No, it had missed the referee. Chelsea will go again. They're playing, each are counter-attacking so nicely. They're finding their way into the box really well. It's fluid and efficient. But no one is creating a serious enough chance. Or even if they do, no one's there to finish it. Except for Werner. And, that's a great ball from Silva. And it's nodded down. Flags up. I'm muted. Remember, there's no audio. I'm not hearing any audio. I muted the commentary. I thought it would distract me. And I don't think he's that bad, but yeah, I'm not too big on Darren Fletcher either. I don't think he's a terrible commentator, though. I think he's given too much to do, to be honest. You need a proper professional, like a truly complete commentator in there. Even someone like, I don't know, Bill Leslie, Kevin Keelings. I've been listening to a lot of those guys' commentaries lately. Even they would be a step up from Fletcher. Although, Fletcher was good in the past on radio. Then he switched to TV. That's why David Croft for the Formula One coverage on Sky isn't that good. He was great on radio, but television requires a different set of a different way of communicating with your audience, and they don't have it. And I don't even know who the co-commentator is, but BT have bad choices. I don't mind Savage that often, but he can say some silly things. McManaman isn't great, and Michael Owen should stay as far away from the commentary box as possible. I agree. Again, don't think Owen's that bad as a presenter, but I get why he's disliked. It's Chilwell. Oh, Havertz has broken through. Here's Werner. He must score, but Ederson's down just in time. He did everything. Maybe he could have hit it first time, but he wasn't sure. He took an extra touch and then didn't have a powerful enough shot. Ederson's down just in time. And again, Chelsea on the break. This is fantastic. This is really exciting to open the game. Here's Werner side netting. And Tuchel is understandably a bit fed up and frustrated at the chances they've wasted. He wants them to keep going, but it's a difficult angle, to be fair, from Werner. This is the first shot here, which Ederson gathers. Yeah, if he'd gone for a little more power, would have made things a lot more interesting, certainly. And the corner is harmlessly gathered by Edison. And again, City on the break this time. And it's De Bruyne still going. Great tackle against tonight's skipper, Kevin De Bruyne. It would normally be Fernandinho. And Fernandinho will still be at City next season, so he'll still be the Citizens' captain. But De Bruyne is obviously has played more games. He is effectively City's captain. I don't think he's particularly bad. No Vincent Kompany, obviously, but he does the job fine. Reece James, so composed. And it's Bernardo Silva. I love watching this man on the ball. Like, De Bruyne's fantastic, and Mahrez, here's Mahrez. It's just doesn't matter. They all have great ability, but there's something about it might be because Bernardo Silva is such a, for the most part, I'd say he's like a really nice dude. He's had a couple of controversies, but I think that was more innocence than anything. James. Oh! Keep thinking they're fouls. There's so much high tempo to this opening quarter hour of this match. It's incredible. The players just keep finding spaces everywhere. Some brilliant headed passes like that. And again, floated down. Here's Werner again. And across. And it meets Kante. It's wide. I don't think he had much hope with two defenders trying to cover his jump in the air. There he is. That would have been very difficult to finish. And Kante's not known. I don't know how many he scored with his head, but I'm sure it's not that much. And not much that Edison had to do with that one, to be honest. The 1/5 mark of this final. Each team presses so high and wins the ball back so quickly. And then, as soon as that happens, they just counter press and break like that. It's remarkable. I feel the game is going to slow down, of course, and they can't keep doing this flat out for the whole 90 minutes and extra time if there is going to be that tonight. When was the last time we went to added time in a final? I think it was 2016 was the last time we had another 30 minutes. And that one went to penalties. There hasn't been a single penalty shootout in the Champions League since that final in Milan between Atletico and Real Madrid. Real winning 5-3. Juan Fran the only one to miss his penalty. Fletcher was already commentating, already the main BT commentator that night. Oh, Zinchenko. And Sterling effectively playing on the left side of midfield there. So, yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, Mahrez and Sterling weren't going to play as normal centre forwards. They were going to play something a bit more flexible than that. Obviously, it's a very fluid hybrid system, as you'd expect from most of these giant teams these days, if they're very technically, tactically astute managers. We've seen Tuchel play Hudson-Odoi as a wing-back in games much earlier this season. And it's not surprising that he's played Foden and De Bruyne and Mahrez and Sterling all at centre forward at different points, has Guardiola. That's going to be a free kick. I see the City bench. I see Ake. I think that's Zach Steffen, the backup goalkeeper. Second choice, Aguero, who is probably not going to take to the pitch today. He has probably played his last ever match for Manchester City before moving to Barcelona on a free transfer at the end of the summer. And which I don't think is as bad a move as people are suggesting. They keep comparing him with Luis Suarez, and I think it's a very different set of circumstances. That story is for another time, though. Foden, De Bruyne. It's not a great pass. It's too relaxed, and again Chelsea intercepts. And Werner is down. It's Raheem Sterling. Here's Zinchenko. He's going to find someone in the box, and I think Jorginho got there just in time. It's Aspilicueta actually who made the tackle for the this corner. And here we see Chelsea's bench. Giroud seemingly on his way to AC Milan. My favourite blue, Kurt Zouma. I'm not a Chelsea fan. There's certain players I like. I'm a typical plastic fan, you know. Maybe don't love the club as a whole, but I love certain individuals. Zouma is my favourite Chelsea player all day long. Love his infectious personality. His just how light-hearted he is, how determined he is as a defender. The fact he came back from a dreadful injury to play for Chelsea, it's all fantastic. He's a fave. Here's Chelsea again, and every time they play a nice-looking ball into the penalty area, a defender's there just in time. It feels like they sort of know what to expect from each other by now, and they're covering each other's moves perfectly. Reece James, here's Werner. James swings it in. It's out to Antonio Rudiger. Now it's Jorginho. Now it's Thiago Silva. Oh, some lovely volleyed passes. These teams are doing everything right. They're just countering each other so well. This is probably going to have at most 2 goals. It's going to finish 0-0, 1-0, or 1-1 this final. I can only see one of those 2 outcomes. That's after 90 minutes. And who knows what could happen in extra time. But it feels like it's going to be one of those scorelines. I mean, in theory, the majority of any finals end with that scoreline. The FA Cup final and the League Cup finals in England finished 1-0. But the Coppa Italia final in Italy finished 2-1. The Coupe de France finished 2-0. This final feels like it's going to finish with either drawn or 1-0. And that's it. And of course, if one team is going to score, you'd think it'd be City. And the upcoming live streams I'm planning to do, I will not necessarily be doing all of them alone. I will have another person kind of adding a bit more energy to me. He's a football enthusiast too, and I'm sure like we're planning to do some live streams together, and I'm gonna liven up even more. Like I'm just talking on my own, but I promise I'll be with some other guy for a lot of the live streams over the summer. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be even more energized. It's just a lot harder on your own. I'm a big football enthusiast, but I'm telling you, this is very different. What's this? Yeah, fine. And there were some international friendlies. The international break has effectively begun already. Set piece for Chelsea. Edison's still not finished. Oh no, he has, with marking his men out. Reece James to swing it in. You've got, I think it's Havertz to his left, or is that Chilwell? Actually, I think it is Chilwell because Havertz has the extra height in the box. Havertz has scored a lot of headed goals in his career before, particularly at Leverkusen. Reece James. And all the way back to Edouard Mendy. City immediately get possession of the ball back, and I'm sure they're going to play it forward. Zinchenko has played it back to the centre-backs. I do wonder if a lot of the counter-attacks from Chelsea have resulted from not having a proper DM. I know Gundogan's good as a defensive midfielder, but a lone DM, it just doesn't make sense. You'd play Rodri there or Fernandinho, and they haven't done that. But still, City keep going. Here's Sterling again playing as that, effectively as this right wing back. Left wing back, sorry, not right wing back. I always associate him with playing as on the right wing. That's where his best performances have come for me. He's not bad on the left side, but he's not as efficient. He's decent. He scores some great goals from the left side, but on the right, yeah, he's so much better. There's no questioning that. Shouldn't yawn. A chance and a great challenge. Not even a corner. Antonio Rudiger to Chelsea's rescue there. Foden had a fantastic shot. And, block. A fantastic block from Rudiger just in time. That was fantastic. And this has been a good final in terms of just simple actions. Lots of great counter-attacks, some nice simple passes, some nice creative passes. And all of the good chances just snuffed out. Foden feels like he's lost his chance already to score. Now, of course, we're in the middle of the game now, so I'm not going to have a drink. I'll wait until half time to do that. We are 28 minutes into the game, the 28th minute of this match at the moment. Reece James. So I wonder, because Gundogan is going to be the only defensive midfielder of any sort, who fills in? You do wonder if, with all the chances they're giving away, Chelsea are going to lose this game. Of course, it's a tradition of one team creates loads of chances, misses most of them, and the team that's been pinned back scores the goal, and that is the winning goal at the end of everything. I don't know. Pass out to Kyle Walker now. Again, all this physicality and energy. And, Morris couldn't get to it. If he had, there was a huge chance to open the scoring for City. But here's Sterling. It's blocked. And he tried to shoot, and Aspilicueta, that's not handball, because he was not intending to. He tucked his arms in, so effectively he wouldn't have any, so it couldn't be deemed handball. I'm pretty sure it came off around the elbow region there, Cesar Aspilicueta. Half an hour in, goalless. I don't always get a lot of sleep. Insomnia sucks. It's also very hot. I don't enjoy sleeping under my duvet. I've got a bed sheet underneath, so I might switch to that, but then it might be a bit too skinny, and I don't feel like I'm being properly insulated. I need a nice blend. Chelsea breaking forward again here. I see Aspilicueta overlapping, effectively allowing James to become another winger, and Aspilicueta becoming wing back. It's a good system. Overlapping centre backs is a tactic I do definitely like. The idea of a centre back playing as a fullback, allowing the fullback to become a wing back, allowing a wing back to become a winger. That sort of tactic. And that's why Southgate has Tyrone Mings. I don't think Mings is that bad a defender, but I think he could well be very important for us, and he has played well for England. Let's not forget. That's not a discussion point we need to have just yet. But I guess it's just certain things I can't help but disagree with. The game's starting to calm down, as am I. I am quite dry. I need to drink. I need some water. There's some Pepsi in my fridge. Diet Pepsi. Oh, that's a nice shot. A nice long lensed deep shot into the penalty area. Rudiger almost gave it away. Chilwell. Ooh. And there's Jorginho. And Reece James. Chelsea player just got back up. Reece James now effectively playing as a 10 here. And he's got Mason Mounts. N'Golo Kante. Aspilicueta playing a very advanced role. Basically another winger. Where's Werner? Didn't see him anywhere there, and I'm pretty sure that's I'm seeing things. No, he was there the whole time. Just at the end, the back of the 18-yard box. Don't know why I didn't spot him. I thought he'd gone off to have treatment for something, but the World V would have picked up that, I'm sure, but yeah. So I knew he was thereabouts in the attack, I just didn't spot him. Weird of me. Hey. First yellow cards of the evening. For, I think it's Ilkay Gundogan. Oh, yeah, high challenge into Mount. That is not pretty. And he still has only just got up. No, that's silver, sorry. And is this a drinks break? It is. Of course, drinks breaks could last year have changed the whole direction of the match. That's Olivier Giroud warming up there. I don't think they're going to substitute Silva already, are they? He has had the odd injury problem. In fact, injuries have been a big problem throughout his career. Yep, so Tuchel has a chance to properly realign the team, explain what he wants to do to his captain, Aspilicueta. Ooh, collision with Foden. And that's Foden. Silva appears to have pulled something. I thought someone had landed on top of him. There's nothing of the sort. Foden is innocent in that regard, in that instance. Again, another counter attack for Chelsea. It's N'Golo Kante. Oh, Havertz brought down. Fairly, it's a fair challenge. Again, another attack blunted for Chelsea. Kevin De Bruyne here. And Walker. Straight into Mendy. No, that was Riyad Mahrez. I apologise. I thought that was that was that was the right back, not the right winger. Yes. De Bruyne is not really playing as a false nine. He is playing as a 10. He is playing pretty deep. And oh dear, could this be the end of Thiago Silva's night? And who are they going to bring on? I'd imagine the likes of Christensen, they are going to make a change. And I think, yeah, he just landed awkwardly. Yeah, he landed awkwardly, and that has caused discomfort. Thiago Silva, who has been a huge asset for Chelsea's defence this season, minus that game where he got sent off against West Bromwich and they conceded 5, is off. And he doesn't hide his disappointment. And of course it is Christensen coming on, one libero for another, but could this come back to haunt Chelsea? Of course, Johnny Evans went off injured in the FA Cup final. His absence had already hurt Leicester in certain games, and it would continue, prove to do so for the rest of the season, but Leicester still won the game without him. There might still be time for Chelsea to recover from this. I haven't exercised much either, by the way. It's so hot and sunny, and I just don't like it. Just not in the mood. I don't feel particularly unfit, I need to go outside. Sitting here is going to be carcinogenic before long. Oh dear. Oh, look at the space that Chelsea keep finding. Floated in by Chilwell. It's Werner. Spilicueta has it now. And there's Andreas Christensen, who has looked way better defensively under Tuchel, under Lampard. He was making a lot of mistakes. Who doesn't remember his red card and that 2-0 win? 2-0 defeat to Liverpool early last autumn. At the time when Liverpool looked like the favourites for the title before everything crumbled for them. Oh! And they thought the attacker there was going to keep sprinting. Players switched out to Reece James. I've got Diet Pepsi in my refrigerator, but I see a Pepsi Max ad. That's on the side there. Rudiger finding James again. Zinchenko tries to beat it away. He does. You've built up. You really enjoy life in London. Everything has been building up. You reach this Champions League final again, and injuries, just as they always have, affect you even in this game. It must be so frustrating, infuriating even for Silva. And who knows, does Christensen have what it takes? I really hope he does. Because I've seen Christensen before and I've liked him, but in the last year and a half or so, he has been pretty naff, it has to be said. But Tuchel has improved him. There are still question marks. Is Christensen good enough for Chelsea to start, to really, really shine for a big team, and so on? It is in effect now a back four for Chelsea, not a back five. Aspilicueta is overlapping. I wonder if City will... I keep yawning. I wonder if City will try and exploit the space left in there, where there was a third centre-back. That's a great ball. And he can go around Ederson and tuck it away. Chelsea lead in the Champions League final. It's Kai Havertz. And just as I talked about Chelsea exploiting space, Manchester City, exploiting space in Chelsea's defence, it's the opposite result. A goal conceded. And of course, Chelsea, having won their last two fixtures against Manchester City in the FA Cup and the Premier League, now leads Manchester City in the Champions League final. And it was such a relaxed ball. And Havertz, I thought Ederson could have beaten him. As soon as he did, I knew Havertz could just turn that ball into an empty net. And on the XG, this is going to be massive. It's going to be like 0.7 or 0.8. He had just enough time before he got tackled and steers it in for 1-0. And they've had a German leading their lines. It's another German who puts them ahead. And I get the feeling it's going to be even more pressure on Chelsea now. City will try even harder to succeed and find a responding goal. It's Havertz's first goal in the Champions League this season. Of course, he didn't have a big impact for Leverkusen. I don't believe he scored many goals at all. They were knocked out in the group stages last season before dropping out of their group into the Europa League. What a moment for him. His first goal of the season in this competition is in the final. And Walker plays that pass way, way beyond the man it was intended for. Beautiful through ball. Could this be the ultimate nightmare for City? This game, when Guardiola arrived, there was always questions about whether they could, a matter of time rather than if they would make this final. Now they have done so, but now they're behind. Europe under Guardiola, under previous managers, has been disappointing, and they're on the break again with Reece James, another great ball forward. Has City played too offensively? No out-and-out DM. An attacking midfielder at left back. I know Zinchenko is hard-working and has been very solid for them, but you do wonder, should they have? Mind you, they don't really have a good left back. Mendy has never been the same since he got injured against Crystal Palace a few years ago. And a bad ball there, but Christensen is able to clear it before it finds danger. I'm just leaning forward with anticipation. 3 minutes added on after the first half. Surely Guardiola will make a change at the start of the second half. Because while he's put in so many attacking midfielders and wide forwards to break down Chelsea's block, it has simply not worked. And they have simply kept conceding on the break. No proper DM. And Werner tries something ambitious, but again, it's too difficult from that angle. Very nice technique. And Edison had that covered anyway. It would have taken a crazy, crazy, precise angle and finish to slide that past Edison or even through his legs into the net. It would have been aiming for the goalpost but then hitting the side netting. But no, even Lionel Messi or Lewandowski would have struggled with a finish like that. Harry Kane. Oh, very risky pass outs. And wow, some very, very those passes. How they haven't been intercepted as often by City attackers is crazy. Now it's just a throw in instead. Man, when the half-time whistle goes, I'm gone. I am going to be away from the stream. I'm going to be AFK. As I said, I haven't created a transition, so it's just you're just going to see my empty room and my hand warmers behind me, just chilling in the background. Well, I get some drink and probably some food too. Re-energize myself for the second half. And the referee will blow his whistle any second. Oh, that was good. That's good play. And there it is. It's funny, as soon as Silva goes off injured, Chelsea break through. Still a long way to go before we can say they're champions of Europe for a second time. But is City's European reputation still getting the better of them? We'll find out. There's still a lot of game to play. Half time in Porto. It's City 0, Chelsea 1. So I'm back. I'm not surprised my average watch time has gone down with my unexplained absence to some people. Darkness beginning to fall on Porto as the Chelsea players return, ready to go out of the tunnels for the second half. A huge amount of football still to be played, I'm sure. Just on another note, congratulations to Brentford. One of my best friends is a Brentford supporter. He lives just a few miles from where the club's based. So it's nice to see them promoted because I'm not, it's easy to say this team plays nice football, but Brentford do play nice football. At the very least, they have a very interesting strategy. I like that they use numbers to find players. As Mendy's rushing, he's really in a hurry to get back on the pitch. He has the farthest distance to travel from the tunnel, but I don't think that explains everything. He's got a towel as well. But yeah, of course. I've been eating, so I have an instinct to kind of use my tongue to clear the food from my teeth. Sorry if that's off-putting. Yeah, but the game is back underway in a minute. I'm sure of it. I don't know if there have been any changes which have been made. The House will be ready to play start of the second half. Apparently no changes for either side at the break, which is interesting. Unless Guardiola's going to ask City to do something very different tactically. Away we go again. What can we expect as City have instantly won a free kick? Right, it's Hoddle and McManaman. I don't mind Hoddle so much as a commentator, but McManaman, he's not that good. Wow, again, great challenges from Chelsea. And winning the ball back, Zinchenko with the throw-in. Spiliqueta giving away a free kick there, which City have taken quickly. Raheem Sterling, and it's brought down by James. There's a loose cable, which is going to get caught between my legs. I've got loads of cables coming out of my laptop for like charging of my mouse, my headphones, so you can hear me. The light, overhead light in my room. Well, it's not overhead. It's a normal room lamp because the actual main light in my room broke years and years ago. Bernardo Silva swings this one in and N'Golo Kante finds it. And he's got to clear it. And it's a goal kick. Clever from him. It was either going to be cleared or rebound off a City player and straight back over the byline. City, I'm sure, will ramp up the pressure even more. Oof. And there's a man free on the left. I think that's Raheem Sterling. Here's Zinchenko. He does find Sterling, but by then he's closed down. And another Chelsea counter-attack. Quickly shut off. Zinchenko running into the centre of the pitch. City desperate to create some chances for an equalising goal. Kyle Walker, Bernardo Silva. And again, it's pretty tame, in the sense that Edouard Mendy could see it coming from a long way back. And there was absolutely no one in the City attack ready for it. Andreas Christensen. Antonio Rudiger to Chilwell. Mendy. Oh, timing these tackles. These goal kicks to the last possible moments. And I can't help but feel that Chelsea are going to have barely any possession in the remainder of this game. They will be going, they will be absolutely all over every possible bit of the ball to try and get an equalising goal. And that's a nice ball played over for Sterling. Here's Gundogan, who's dropped extremely deep. Has Guardiola overthought it? Playing this 4-4-2 diamond system. Chelsea with the possession now. If you look at the attacking data, finally I'm looking at the attacking data. Both teams have cleared the ball a similar amount of times. Chelsea have tackled a lot more, but they have more shots on target, more shots inside the box, and 3 big chances to score against City's none. So Chelsea have definitely been, by certain offensive and defensive numbers, the stronger team tonight. Plenty of time for City to change that still, but they still trail 1-0. Chilwell. Brilliant the way they cut in centrally to try and play balls forward. Chilwell is a good at through balls in the end. Oh, it's a beautiful shot of a challenge between 2 of the best midfielders of this age, at least in the Premier League. De Bruyne against Kante. 2 very different skill sets. They sort of overlap a little bit. Kante's not a bad passer. De Bruyne's not that bad in terms of work rate, let's say, but of course in terms of, yes, one is a ball winner, one is a pure creator. And that's a fantastic weighted ball. That was absolutely brilliant because he played it forward and Dias recovers it. But Timo Werner had just enough time to get it as well. Very exciting. Every challenge Chelsea have entered into has worked. There have been virtually no mistakes tonight. If they are feeling any pressure, they're not showing it. Guardiola's certainly feeling pressure, that's for sure. I'm just going to check Manchester City's. They have played some very interesting setups in that semi-final against PSG. They played 4-3-3 with Rodri as the pivot and Gundogan and Silva as the eights, the central midfielders in the first leg. And then in the second leg, they played a 4-4-2. But it was Fernandinho and Gundogan double pivot, Foden and Mahrez, and then Silva and De Bruyne, I imagine, as double false nines, something like that. Getting very dark now in Porto. Delivery. But Porto have won it. Chelsea have won the ball, sorry. But the pass is very, very harmless. Doesn't go anywhere. Easily covered by Manchester City for a goal kick. And we've got Kevin De Bruyne down. And it's Rudiger. I do wonder if this is a clash of heads of sorts. I didn't see it particularly in any detail. Yes, I think De Bruyne has knocked his head. Yellow cards coming out. Of course. Let's just see that. Oh, it is a clash. Oh, that is horrible. De Bruyne and Rudiger. Oh, the camera isn't even looking. Oh dear. That is a bad look. I'm sure they're going to have substitutes if available. And already Rodri is warming up. I wonder if he should have started. That's not necessarily relevant at this point, but this is not a pleasant sight. Rudiger is on his feet, booked instantly. And it's Kevin De Bruyne who is still down. Wouldn't be surprised if De Bruyne is concussed. This is going to add a lot of time. And well, if De Bruyne, if the injury is serious enough, imagine what it could do if for the European Championships in a few weeks. They start 2 weeks yesterday in 13 days in Rome. Kevin De Bruyne is going to be a major player for Belgium. They've done alright without him, but it of course would be weakened without his creativity, his services. Wouldn't be good. And maybe he wasn't concussed, but I wonder if it's an eye injury. I'm not hearing anything, so I can't see. Yeah, yeah. I wonder if it's the end of his night. Walker, I thought was going to have the armband on. De Bruyne is definitely off, and I'm sure he's obviously distressed, not just physically but emotionally. It's effectively the biggest club game of his career. He's worthy of it, definitely. And just like with Thiago Silva, it's all over. It's Sterling who has the armband, as he wore, I think, against Manchester City in the last time these two met a few weeks ago in the league. And De Bruyne's not even going to be in the stands. He'll go straight down the tunnel. And how will City play creatively without him? They'll still be good, but he's such an important player for City. And the strike, it's cleared. Appeals for hands. Lehol says play on. And they want a penalty, but Lehol is having none of it. Ball played forward. It's no problem for Edouard Mendy. I can't see hands there. Oh, Reece James does stick his arm out, but I don't think it was intentional in any way. That said, we've seen penalties being given for less the last season and a half. So who knows here. Play continues. I think the check is over, isn't it? The graphics come up already. They're playing on. This is Foden. Look at the energy. And the shot is way over. That's one of the more ambitious shots of any kind in the final tonight. He might have pulled something even. And so we're going to see the handball from well, that's not a particularly great angle from behind the goal. Hopefully nothing too serious for young Phil Foden. Like De Bruyne, he might be a very important player for his country at the European Championships. There, the total attempts, just 10 shots in the game so far, just 3 on target in the opening hour. Although, depending on how this game goes, I wouldn't be surprised if that count doubles. The shots on target, at least, before the 90 are up. Regardless of the scoreline, whether Chelsea adds to the goal they've scored, or City can equalise, whatever happens. Christian Pulisic is ready. So looks like he'll be making an introduction into this match. And City still can't really take advantage of the space. Chelsea can, though. Reece James, now Jorginho. Spiliqueta. Jorginho. And headed into Edison by Walker. Jorginho's obviously not had any spectacular passes, not as many as people were expecting when he signed, but he's done his job tonight so far. And if this does end up going to penalties, and he's still on the pitch, I'm certain he'll take one. He'll be one of the first, if not the first, Chelsea player to take one. There's a long, long way from that being a possibility, though. City have the ball, though. Okay, Gundogan. Zinchenko. Sterling. Foden is tackled. And speaking of tackles, it's Fernandinho who comes on, and I think Sterling probably will still have the armbands, but I do wonder if Fernandinho might take it, and it's Bernardo Silva who comes off. I guess I can understand that. Gundogan with the right sort of blend of creativity and work rate. You've got Foden who has crazy sprints, the way he runs at defensive players. It's quite understandable. Fernandinho instantly slotting into that role as the deepest midfielder. I am pretty certain that Gundogan will advance further up the pitch, and already he's playing some. Fernandinho, a great progressor of the ball in passing. Out to Walker already. Phil Foden finding Sterling. And Chelsea player got chopped down there. Werner. Back to Rudiger. Christensen. This is the sort of thing we know he's vulnerable against, but he's cleared the ball well. Out for a City throw-in. Or I'm not sure. I think it is a Chelsea throw-in. Fernandinho doesn't have the armband. Oh, that's a bit of a cruncher there on Jorginho. Fellow Brazilians, technically. Both hail from the same country, at least. And Timo Werner's being subbed off. Pulisic comes on. Still no actual centre forward on the pitch. They have to control it. Gundogan does control it. Oh, the defensive work from Chelsea is incredible. But the referee thinks it's a free kick. He's marking where he wants it taken. Marks the side of the offence. Oh. There is Kevin De Bruyne there, who is in the stands now. Hope he's doing alright. Something tells me that it isn't obviously a very serious head injury. I'm sure it won't affect his international duties for the upcoming tournament. And offside flags raised for that set piece. Here's Phil Foden. Lovely, lovely running. Oh, what a clearance from Cesar Azpilicueta. That is fantastic defending. And it's played out to Mahrez, and then before it can reach, I don't know who that was, but Azpilicueta gets there just in time, and someone slipped there, and now Chelsea break. I think this is Pulisic, and he's brought down. No, it's a fair challenge. I don't know what's up with me. Missing all these, like, missing who these players are. Getting the wrong calls. I'd be a terrible referee. And Azpilicueta down, and a bit like De Bruyne, if he's staying down, there is a problem with him. Because so far he has not spent that much time on the floor this game. Ooh. That definitely does look uncomfortable. And again, another player warming up. Callum Hudson-Odoi amongst them. What a clearance. If that's his last major action of the game, then, well, Azpilicueta has done his job incredibly well. It was Gundogan who was going to tap it into the net. Azpilicueta back to his feet, thank goodness. You can see BT Pro already advertising the UEFA Super Cup, which is in 2.5 months' time. Looks like it will be Chelsea who face Villarreal. Or have I spoken too soon? Here's Sterling. And here's Fernandinho. What an excellent playmaker. Defensive playmaker he is. He does everything. You can understand why City haven't been so good without him. I understand that Rodri has stepped into the role and has done very commendably, but he doesn't have the same strength, the same sort of natural ability to tackle, to draw fouls like Fernandinho can. He's been every bit as good, you could argue. As Walker considers a long shot. Here's Mahrez. Floats it in. Cleared out. And I wouldn't be surprised if City do this for another 20 minutes or so. They've covered a similar amount of distance. City now have 56% possession. Oh. Cross is blocked. Whenever they give away fouls, Chelsea, they don't appear to be in the most dangerous of locations. That's a great ball. And this is a very dangerous attack from Chelsea. And still they go. I was going to say it's 2. And Pulisic has missed a chance maybe to put Chelsea on the podium, lifting the European Cup there. Yes, trying to keep Stones off. He tries to lob Ederson, but it's no good. It's wide. It looked like a very neat shot, but sadly it was not executed as well as he would have liked, as well as Chelsea would have liked. Still 1-0. I'm so tired, and I don't want to shout too loud. My parents will be going to bed soon. It's a great run. Just love seeing the technicality between all these players. Foden has it. Fernandinho now. Zinchenko finding Sterling. Now he wants John Stones to pick a pass. Out to Walker. That's a nice ball. It's not going to lead to an assist. Oh. And again, they couldn't connect with it. Chilwell there, keeping it out. And City will not let go of the ball, and I'm sure for most of this game, you will see them time after time trying to break this Chelsea defence, trying to push into their penalty area, just like they were doing after conceding in the FA Cup semi-final. I didn't watch their league clash. I don't have a subscription to watch Premier League matches. I only watch what I can, though. As long as it's free, as long as it's legal. Foden. Whereas any long-range magic from him, he's known for doing it in the past, more from free kicks, but my point still stands. Indeed, it was a clash against Chelsea 18 months ago. He shot from outside the box through Fikayo Tomori's legs. There's no question that that would be greatly appreciated if he could pull that off. If there is going to be a hero for City, who will it be? Redemption time for Raheem Sterling, perhaps? I don't know. Again, these balls over the top, so dangerous from Chelsea. They still aren't finished with this attack. It's Pulisic. Jorginho. It's a simple pass. Mason Mounts. A waste in the end. He just drags a shot across the face of goal. I wasn't expecting this. Sergio Aguero coming on, and what will surely be his final minutes as a Manchester City player. Could he be the one to save City's hopes of European glory? It appears that Sterling is coming off. And Aguero will obviously be trying his best to shut off the emotional significance of this appearance. It was his last game for City. David Silva didn't come off the bench for his last game against Lyon in the Champions League. Aguero has the most out-and-out attacking centre-forward they have, really. Jesus is more of a wide man. Much more fluid and much worse a finisher. City is starting to play like a more conventional 4-3-3 attacking side, I could argue. More like the City we've been familiar with terrorising English football. Walker. Corner. Mahrez to deliver this. Almost tripped over the wire connecting the microphone. Here he comes. It's a poor cross straight into the first defender. And his second one is better, but still not anywhere near endangering Chelsea's defence. even if City find a response, I don't feel it's game over. I still feel that Chelsea is going to have a lot in them going into extra time. They definitely have the stamina, that's for sure, as did Villarreal in that Europa League final. They had no problems getting it to penalties, although United weren't particularly exceptional on Wednesday night. Mateo Kovacic is on. Is there time for another dramatic moment like the one at the Etihad in 2012 against Queen's Park Rangers? Of course, that goal in this context is most likely going to equalise, not be a winning goal. As De Bruyne again walks off the field, off the outside of the into the walls of the stadium proper. Mason Mount, arguably their best player this season on a creative level, his work rates. He's been exceptional. No one expected him. Not many expected him to truly become as important to Chelsea as he actually has become. Will probably be a key player for England at the European Championships as well. Someone that Frank Lampard and Gareth Southgate were mocked for wanting to play. He's not just a good hard-working player, he is exceptional. He does so much right. Chelsea are forward once more. Kante doing brilliantly in that more advanced role at this particular point. Pulisic, his attempt to the cutting ball is snuffed out. Speaking of which, of Lampard, it makes you think if Chelsea do go on to win this, you wonder, well, what does that say? Lampard's been replaced with Tuchel. It doesn't automatically mean that any manager of Tuchel's quality would win this tournament. Something has gone exceptionally right for Chelsea. I don't think Lampard's a bad coach. I think the things he did under the transfer ban and some of the things he did at Derby County were exceptional, despite not improving Derby's league position. He did get them to the playoff final, which they did not manage to do the year before. That's another story. Ben Chilwell. Gone down against Walker. Looks like he went down a bit too easily. But nonetheless, he's done his job. And Chelsea now have a dangerous set piece. Reece James and Chilwell. Chelsea's wing backs tonight. Standing over this one, and Chilwell himself looks like he's going to swing it in. Here it comes. It's a harmless effort from Jorginho. And City's march towards Chelsea's goal will continue. We'll resume. 8 minutes to go. And then we have stoppage time on the ends of that. No doubt there will be a few minutes because of the Rudiger De Bruyne collision. Once again, City struggling to find space, Chelsea finding lots of it. But the whistle has blown for Kovacic. whatever language Lejos and Jorginho are communicating to each other in. One knows Portuguese, and I don't know if Jorginho speaks that much Italian. And Lejos very Spanish, so it probably would be in English. Oh, it's a wild challenge from Fernandinho. I didn't really see the ferocity of it live again. I think I'm quite bad at spotting the positioning of players. I always focus on who's got the ball rather than who is probably going to receive it next. They sure turn up to Chelsea. They have not made mistakes. Each time they've been in the Champions League final, they've been the unfancied opponent. They were a penalty away from sealing it 13 years ago in Moscow, and they were winning it on penalties in Munich 9 years ago, and here tonight, again, not fancied. They weren't fancied against United or Bayern, and they're not fancied against City, and yet here they are. But Mendy catches the cross there, and the clock continues to tick down. Of course, that trend has continued. Every time a team has debuted in the Champions League final, they have proceeded to lose it. I think this would be the 8th or 9th consecutive time that's happened. Manchester City, another Champions League final debutant, and they will lose as things stand. There's still just a bit of time to change that. Once again, it will be a previous winner who could well be taking home the trophy tonight. But I should not be speaking this early. There's still a lot of time. There can be a lot of time in 6 minutes, 5 minutes to change the outcome of this game for 1-0 to become 1-1. Kyle Walker finding someone in the box, but it doesn't reach anybody. And I think that's been the story of a lot of those balls into the box for Manchester City tonight. And I'm sure a lot of these City fans have been watching games for a long time. They've seen a lot of great moments, and they would have been hoping for something more romantic, something more pleasing, and it could well be that they are going to find disappointment on the European stage once again. I keep bringing it up, but it could very well be true now. But, of course, in Portugal, 7 years ago, Real Madrid were a goal down at this stage in the game and then proceeded to equalise. A good attempt, scuff there. Tuchel's, the sweat is probably accumulating so much for Tuchel. His hair starts to clump together and his ball patch is more and more exposed. I don't even need to hide mine. I've not got any hair for that anyway now. Chelsea. Oh, that's funny. Just as she realised she was on the monitor, then it cuts away. Her moment, probably the only time in her life she'll be on live television. And it probably applies for these guys in this shot, moments later. And what a time to capture these people, honouring what they hope will be a crowning achievement on what was looking like a troubled season just a few months ago. Chelsea still aren't finished. Another card's coming out. I think it's for Gabriel Jesus. I didn't again, missed it. Oh, yeah, you can't do that. Scissor challenge from behind on Kai Havertz. And if it had been more ferocious, that would be a red card for certain. Absolutely, easily a yellow card for the centre forward. Versatile forward, Jesus. If he can't finish, he'll create. What a time to become a fan, a young fan. very early in your history. I mean, these guys could be plastics, but I'm not going to judge. And if Chelsea can keep finding the ball in the closing minutes, that will probably be enough. As they keep it in. Chilwell again. It's Pulisic, Chilwell, nice 1-2 here, and Jesus pushes him to the ground. Oh, I thought that was a foul, and then City do win a free kick. And Edison doesn't hoof it upfield like he did earlier in the match. For Sterling, he's just going to play it simple passes. I think Walker's tucked in as a centre-back. I think City have formed the back three. Get as many men up forward as possible. That's a good ball in. And again, cleared expertly. Chelsea are just not being bothered. They are handling everything so well at this point. Finally. Seven minutes added on for the De Bruyne Rudiger incident. I'm just tired, guys. Sorry for the low voice. Because if there's a goal, I don't know how much energy I'll have. Riyad Mahrez, he's lost it. It's Pulisic. And down goes Kai Havertz, the goal scorer for Chelsea so far. What will this mean for Guardiola? What will it mean for City's season? They've won the Premier League in dominant fashion. That run between January or December and March, or pretty much from December onwards, was definitely good enough to win the Premier League. It felt like they were the best team in Europe at that time, and yet here they are, losing in the final. Could this be? They were building a fantastic unit, and this one loss could be all it takes to bring it down again. Will it sap their morale and allow the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool and even Manchester United to creep in to their advantage in the league for next season? Pep might not allow that, but this is a game which he was hoping would prove his reputation, enhance it further as a manager. Maybe it is not to be in the end. Regardless, Guardiola is still a fantastic manager. That should not be questioned anyway. City have won a throw-in. Walker wants a new ball. Even Edison is going forward. What happens if he loses this ball could be horrendous. I'm sure he'll be sprinting back to his box very quickly. So many men piled forward. Zinchenko has got it now. And tackled, and this is the risk. Because Chelsea can break. At the very least, they can hold on to the ball. They've won a free kick. It will just be a set piece. I'm sure that was tactical, if anything. I'm sure that's incredibly intense energy from Tuchel will be something very different if they can hold on to their leads. Guardiola fidgeting with his trousers. What could it mean? What could it mean? I'm sure the likes of Guardiola, true intellects, would have run through all those possibilities. How will I be perceived? How will things be for me if I lose this final? If I win, where do I go next? I'm sure those were on his mind before. Not now, of course, but there will be questions that are asked. I'm asking them myself. I'm sure many others are going to be. He's going to need a great throw in, Will Walker. So he still have it in the box. And it won't count. Rudiger down. And he is fouled by Rodri. Two minutes remaining. As Mendy plays it upfield. Edison wants it. Of course, that chance of him taking a penalty, whether it be in a shootout or even during the game itself, looking very slim now. This is not what he was hoping for, not what he would have been dreaming of. City players trying desperately not to let disappointment overwhelm their final minutes. They can only do that when the whistle goes and they know the result is definite, it's final. Oh, that's a brilliant turn. It's cleared out again by Christensen. Kyle Walker with a throw in. Again. And someone's going for a shot. It's over. We're getting closer and closer. Or does he feel that was the chance? Oh! Almost hit the woodwork. Some thought that was going in. So the surprise when it was not. It's well Mendy to clear it again. Manchester City is still not in this one. There's some pretty much firing that as a shot as opposed to a pass. There it is, it's over. Mendy with the ball in his hands, now on the floor. This was not in the script a few months ago. And unbelievably, in a battle of two great tacticians, the team which many would argue were underdogs, they had something like 4-1 odds to win tonight, have indeed triumphed in the Champions League final. And last year, Paris Saint-Germain lost the final, despite that Middle Eastern sponsorship. And this year, a team with a similarly based source of income again loses. How devastating for Aguero that his final appearance for Manchester City ends like this. And as I said, what will this signify? What will this mean for Guardiola's squads? The sky was the limit, Suddenly, things look very different now. And a second European crown for Chelsea. Still the only London club to have won this competition. Of course, there is also the factor of records in finals for Guardiola. He'd only lost one cup final, one final of any kind before tonight. That was the record. And now he has lost once again for only the second time. But this time on a stage he would not have hoped to lose on. Chelsea have won by 1-0. Just like last year, a lone goal. And Zinchenko, I do feel for him in particular. He's such a charismatic, enjoyable presence on or off the field. I love his confidence. So to see him or Aguero, who seems like a great dude himself, inconsolable at defeat, is still a very, very poignant sight. Oh, well, feeds have messed up there. They have a shot of a camera drifting towards the sky and the sky camera above the pitch. Of course, we've seen teams approach this final on a wave of form, lose, and it only motivates them to go again. We've seen so many teams come forward to this final, lose, and then their great run of form collapses from there. I'm not sure if it's going to happen to a team like City, but I wouldn't be surprised. But they could easily do a Bayern when Bayern lost in 2012 in their own stadium, no less. It motivated them to have possibly their best season and one of the best individual club seasons football has ever seen. It might yet be the same, but that won't be on City's minds. They will just have to let this immense, deeply immense disappointment sink in and witness these players receive their winners' medals. So many players, as usual, with a Champions League win you wouldn't have expected. The likes of Tammy Abraham, Marcos Alonso, Andreas Christensen. Players a few years ago you would never have thought would have Champions League winners' medals now do so. And the likes of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Kyle Walker, Ruben Dias, Fernandinho, Sergio Aguero will have to wait that bit longer. Well, Aguero, will his time even come? He's heading to Barcelona next year, a team which hasn't had a great European campaign for quite some time now. Doesn't mean the same is guaranteed. Guardiola doing his best to stay composed and rally his men. Ederson, his compatriot Alisson, was a winner in this final a couple of years ago, and he was sitting on the pitch FaceTiming his family across the Atlantic Ocean. That will not, I'm sure, even if he does do that, that will not be the demeanour Ederson will be expressing. The contrast is very definitive. Is this the moment the whistle was blown? I don't know. I was hoping it would be a slow-mo shot of Tuchel reacting to the full-time whistle. I love seeing the manager's reaction. Their change from a composed, controlling character to someone a lot more lively, I'm sure. I always enjoy seeing that. Like when Carlo Ancelotti sprinted forward from the touchline the moment AC Milan won the Champions League in 2003. This all means so much. It will be such a huge psychological boost for players. Zinchenko finally hauled from the pitch. Kepa Arrizabalaga, that's another name you would not have predicted a year ago. Well, that's one name you would have least expected. Look at Rudiger in the background running through the penalty area. Oh, he's a very happy man. 3 new German winning players: Havertz, Werner, Rudiger. I might have missed out another one, of not least of all the coach, Tuchel, who of course makes up for the disappointment he must have felt last year. He could barely walk, having suffered an injury himself in training a year ago. There's Kepa Arrizabalaga, one of the guys you'd least expect to have any responsibility in this final, and yet there he is, a winner tonight. And I'm sure for the likes of Phil Foden, this will not be his last opportunity. At least I'd hope not. Such a fantastic player. Mason Mount now a winner. Havertz now a winner. He's now interviewed. Azpilicueta. I'm so pleased for him, of course. Such a great servant to Chelsea. And he will be the one, I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he alone lifts the trophy. And a very worthy name among the list of captains who have won this great competition. I remember people were questioning whether Azpilicueta was even a good captain. Well, I'm not saying he's the reason why Chelsea have won, but I feel tonight's victory does define a lot. I saw as Willy Caballero, if maybe this final had gone to penalties, maybe they'd swap him with Mendy in goal for him to save potential spot kicks. Never needed in the end. "40 years old this year, the Argentine. He'll be probably one of the oldest Champions League winners for a very long time." Billy Gilmour. Of course, probably the majority of these players will never win this again. This is a night they will cherish and savour, I hope, for a very long time. The rest of their lives, ideally. No, that many will. You see the blue ribbons on the trophy. And of course, this will also help them in the transfer market. This will attract people. There's rumours of Romelu Lukaku coming to Chelsea. Mind you, it might even be as simple as down to where Antonio Conte is going in the case of Lukaku. But whoever's arriving, reigning European champions sounds like a great tag, a great way of attracting star players to the bridge. Chelsea do win the Champions League in the future, it could well be that man being lifted, Mason Mount, if not wins the Champions League with Chelsea, he will certainly lift trophies as their captain in the future. And for so many clubs who have won this prize, it will to some feel like the beginning of an era. So many teams have failed to defend the title. Real Madrid, the only team in the Champions League era to have defended the European Cup. UEFA officials, the first to receive medals. And Chelsea, no, Manchester City will have a guard of honour before receiving their appearance medals. There's Alexander Sheffirin, whether you find him controversial or not. He is there tonight to award the medals to the officials and participants of this game. Guardiola the first to receive a medal, not the one he would have hoped for. He's won 2 of those already as a winner, and now the first as a loser. As I said, only the second final he's lost in his career out of, I think, 16. He does kiss the medal. Bernardo first in the queue, and then Benjamin Mendy. Diash, a despairing look at the trophy. There's Aguero. One must feel for him especially. Not the way he wanted to bow out from this club, whom he's been a key part of for so long. Indeed, I do see some players removing their medals as soon as they receive them. I remember Andrea Pirlo in particular doing that when he lost in that dramatic final in Istanbul. They're doing their best to handle the disappointments are City's players. Okay, however, for Gundogan, he's now appeared in 2 Champions League finals and has lost both of them. There's Zinchenko, and you can tell just how upset he is. Scott Carson, would have been such a lovely story for him to have received the medal tonight and winning the game. It was not to be. Thomas Tuchel will receive his medals. Being very polite with UEFA's men. I don't know how genuine it is. It's his job for him to do this. And no doubt not the last kiss of the trophy. Indeed, instantly, Jorginho does the same as Tuchel. Hudson-Odoi, Thiago Silva limped off the field, but in the end, finally, the Champions League is his. Marcos Alonso, Harifa Balaga there. Kovacic, who has already won many of those medals with Real Madrid. Palmieri, Antonio Rudiger, Mendy. The goalkeeper's not having so much to do tonight. These players so honoured. Tammy Abraham, who might never play for Chelsea again, but leaves with one of the greatest honours he could have ever asked for. Chilwell, in his first season with the Blues, Christensen, and now Reece James. One of the best performers. Hardly anyone put a foot wrong for Chelsea tonight. Kurt Zouma, I in particular am very happy for him. Gilmour, Caballero. Oh, that's just reward for N'Golo Kante. Olivier Giroud, like Abraham, might be leaving Chelsea, but he receives his medal. Top of the trophy from Pulisic. Havertz, Mount, and how fitting he, potentially a future captain, and the current captain, Cesar Azpilicueta. Plenty of Spaniards have lifted this trophy. Zubizarreta, Puyol, and now this man. He wasn't expected to be a key player for Chelsea when he first signed with them years ago. Now he is responsible for one of their greatest honours, as Chelsea are champions of Europe for the second time in their history. A moment forever photographed in time and history. And the celebrations will commence. I'm pretty sure that the intensity of their celebrations are relating to how little they were assuming this could happen. Their domestic form wasn't great before Tuchel arrived. They were just another club. Even when the knockouts began, I don't think they were fancied as the favourites. But as the competition amounts, as usual, a team can come from behind when you don't expect it and go on to succeed. So many players who have come from such difficult circumstances, as is common in football, to reach this stage. Well, by whatever means, Guardiola will try his best to ensure that he will be back. It's just a matter of how well will City's players respond to his philosophies for next season. Will they fold? With the amount of money they spend, I'm not sure if that will happen too soon, but does this truly motivate them? Will this motivate them to finally achieve what these men are celebrating right now? Only time will tell. Alexander Zinchenko again. I'm sure this defeat will motivate him in particular towards higher standards. I'm sure he'll be amongst City's ranks next season. And the mini Tuchels have arrived in the stadium. For every individual at this club, there is a story. There is a narrative. Tuchel, who started his career sort of in similar parallels to Jurgen Klopp, became a manager at Mainz after being a player there, then to Borussia Dortmund. Spent a bit of time out of management with Paris Saint-Germain, and then pretty much as soon as he was sacked from the job, taking the reins at Stamford Bridge soon after Lampard himself was fired. What a proud moment, because he is not just a manager, but he is another great human being. A second European Cup for Roman Abramovich. We haven't seen him in the broadcast that much at all. I remember him being in so many shots of that first victory 9 years ago in Germany. The fans are already being ushered out of the stadium and into the streets of Porto, as is the protocol. A very tactical final. There's Aguero. Still, a Champions League final defeat is in some regards an achievement in someone's career. To have gone that far is still impressive, but well, for a player of his legacy, I think it is not going to be remembered that he just missed out on it tonight. Probably more remembered that he never won it. But it's not his fault. He tried as he always would coming onto the pitch. And now onwards to Barcelona. As I said, a tactical final. I'm not sure if it's going to be particularly memorable either. But nonetheless, in a season where so many giants have tumbled across the continent, probably from side effects of the COVID pandemic, it is two English clubs who have reached the final. I'm sure it's not entirely because of money, it's more than just that. And they'll all be ready to go again next season. So, that's it from me. I think I'm going to wind it up for the evening. I'll be back with more live streams in the coming weeks. I think it shouldn't be too hard to guess what sort of matches I might be covering, and I'll be doing videos, mixed separate videos concerning those particular games. No, it's not the Intercontinental Cup. It's not going to be any friendlies of sorts during the summer. I don't think I can find free coverage of that anyway. I might be back for the new club season. I don't know what my future holds either, but at the end of the day, I will wind up this stream, and I hope you guys, if any of you guys stayed to watch it, enjoyed my coverage. I know I was pretty quiet for large parts, but it's been difficult for me at home. Still not having much of a social life, not really able to meet people, but well, looking forward to what's coming up. So I will see you all guys very soon. And this isn't the last of me you'll see. Of course, I am going to be still recording, doing videos, whether it's videos or live streams, through that web camera, with these shades, with this beard, hopefully a more inspired Ranger t-shirt. I swear I'm not a Fiorentina fan. I just, Batistuta was a cool player, wasn't he? And I like Gattuso, the incoming manager for Fiorentina. But I will sign off now. Good night, and I'll see you all soon to those watching.